everybody, it's Melissa with Growing Success Bee Company. A lot of you are getting ready to process your wax from your wax cappings this year. I'm going to show you kind of how our solar melter works. This thing is old, it's ancient, but Dan's been able to kind of piecemeal it together. So this is what it looks like in real time with kind of what we are currently doing with our setup. So if you look down in here, you can see these are all of the slum gum. It looks disgusting. It's been really hot today, so it's pretty liquid right now. So after we have put a bunch of our wax cappings in here, or even if you have some beeswax that you processed, and maybe it still has some honey in it, or it just didn't get it real clean, I'll still throw that on top. And if you can see this looks, yeah, like maybe this is some, comb that still didn't get all the wax out of. This is actually, all the wax is out of that. And what you're left with is just nasty cocoons of all the debris in the slum. So what I do is I take off the lid. I get all of this nasty stuff out because, the more of this that you can get out, and I just use my hive tool, the better. And then after all this comes out, then I will go and take my prize at the bottom, which is my harvested wax. And inside the wax there, you'll see there's some water where the wax literally goes right off like a waterfall into the water, and then it's nice and clean. And like I said, if it has some of that slum or some of that honey in it, I'll go ahead and put it back on top. But first things first, we want to get all of this off. We've got our tray all nice and cleaned up here. You can see here there's a little bit of wax that we left there because we want to get the most out of the cappings that we can. So I didn't scrape that off. I just got the nasty stuff off of it. And if you look in here, you can see our lovely beeswax prize. So the water's pretty dirty because it's got honey mixed in with it and some slum still. But this is pretty much what it looks like. And there's a lot of water still left in that. If you have some slum right here, you can, that'll, scrape off pretty good. But if you've got it inside like that, that's gross. We just run that through again because we want a nice solid piece of good, solid, clean beeswax to start off with. So I'm going to put that to the side. We're going to get all of our other little pieces now. That doesn't look too bad. It is small, and the water does get really warm. So keep that in mind. There again, another little tunnel with some nasty slum in it. So that'll get put through again. That would be okay. We'll get the rest of it out here. And now that one, I would put that back through because if you can see, it's kind of tunneling down in there. And yep, looks pretty gross. Got a lot of honey and slum in that. And you can just kind of tell by feeling too. So that piece is okay. And then here's what you've got left. You've got to be careful. I was a little messy, try not to, is this wood? You want to try to keep your wood nice and dry. This little tub here, you're only going to fill about halfway full of water, so I'm going to dump that. See, it's still got a little bit there, but we'll go ahead and add some fresh water to it. See if I can't get a little bit of that extra honey off of there. If you've got a water hose, just use a hose and get it out real good, But you only want about half full of water. You don't want to fill it up because then as your wax weighs a lot more than water does. So by the time your wax goes down in there, it'll push the water out, and then there again, you got water on your wood. So we'll come back out later and we'll probably take a towel and dry that little bit there that I spilled. But once you got your water back in there, then you take your tray. We take it out to get the rest of the slum off because it's just easier. And that way we don't knock a bunch down into our water. Okay, now you want to make sure you get this so it's at a nice slant because you want this to come down and go right into your bucket of water there, right? Now we're going to go ahead and put this up here because we want this remelted. Those little pieces were fine. Put that on there. And then I've got some extra cappings here from when we harvested. And if you look at our cappings, they're actually kind of fluffy and dry. They don't have a ton of honey in them because we've already strained it out. We'll take like a nice pail strainer and or like a filter bag. Actually use a filter bag in a 5-gallon bucket, and we'll put our cappings in that and let them have some time to get most of the honey off. So after you've got what you want here, you can go ahead and just fill this tray up. You got a nice 75-degree day. Put your cappings in even the night before or in the morning. By the evening, you've got your beeswax all ready to go. But you want this kind of, I like to kind of break it up a little bit here. That way it helps speed up the process. And then the lid that we put on the top of this, it's like a kind of like a clear polycarbonate type lid, or even an old window screen would work, or not window screen, but a window. Because, you know, the solar rays hit it, it heats up the glass, melts the wax, and then does the job you want it to do. So I could even, I mean, that's pretty thick right there. So we'll do a little bit more up here. Just kind of nice and even. And I try to leave a little empty spot down here just to kind of catch a lot of the slum here so it doesn't end up in the water quite as much. And then the other thing you can do, if you've harvested a lot of your cappings and maybe you've done the filtering of the honey into the bucket and you're like, gosh, my end product, my cappings still have a good bit of honey in it. If you've got a place far enough away from your beehives, you can take you like a tote that's got some tall sides on it. You want it tall, just it makes it a lot easier, and you can put some of your wax cappings that have too much honey on it, and you can go and put it out for the bees and they'll clean it up. And then when you go to put it in your wax melter here, it's a lot cleaner. You won't have quite as much honey, and maybe even a lot less than what we're getting here too. So but 'tis the nature of the beast. Sometimes we don't have time to go and take it out to the field. And right now we're still in the dirt, so you can see there's some bees flying around because, boy, they smell the honey and they want it. So hey everybody, okay, we are 24 hours later, so let's look and see what we got. So this is not near as full of the sludge and the slum gum as what we had yesterday. So the wax cappings and that extra wax that I wanted to melt down again because it had some extra honey in it is all down into the little bucket there, and there's not much slum. So that's good. It's cold outside right now, so it's kind of hard. So I won't do any scraping today. I'll do that on a nice warm day. But let's look and see what we got here for our beeswax prize. So we got a nice solid block, and it's real nice and smooth on top, so I like that. It's got a little bit of debris in it, but that's not a worry. I'll take care of that in the next wax filtering process that I do. So that's all ready for the next stage. Thank you for watching. Be blessed.